Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Outside the Field with me, Jacob, and my co star, Chris, to my left. How are you guys doing today?
Hey
It's
guys.
rhetorical because you can't speak. Haha.
But we are happy to have you guys all back on for another episode. Week 4, another wild set of games. We only have one undefeated team left after 4 weeks, guys. That's honestly pretty rare. I feel like usually we have a few make it like 6 or 7 weeks. So um, I don't know, it's crazy, but I think getting 4 weeks, quarter of the season basically done. I think Mr. Jacoby, as he always claims to be, and I are starting to get a really good grasp of the season, guys. I mean, I'm finally starting to sit down and have some confidence, some real confidence in what I'm telling you guys. Not that I haven't always had confidence, but it's starting to get a lot more clear out here, guys. And I'm pretty excited for where the season's headed. Um, in one dynasty league, guys, I did draft Robert Woods, Allen Robinson, and AJ Brown. So ripping for that receiving trio,
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
big rough.
Going into the season, we were all like, "Oh, bro, this is so good, too. This is so
Dude, I
good."
was feeling
But,
I had like it was we had to start four receivers because 8 man. I had CD in those three, and I was like, oh my god, this receiving core is godlike. And now today, I'm just like,
so I've never
oh.
been a big fan of Woods. Um, and then this year just as like proved it to me because I finally bit in and drafted a share of him. I was like, bro, this dude's.
But
But Allen
last year,
Robinson, I
no,
think he'll pick it up, and Brown, I'm still not like giving up on. He's just had unlucky. Like he's getting the targets. He's a freak of nature. I
no,
think AJ Brown picks it up.
you can't skip past the great story of last year, because he's always been a Cooper Cup guy. I've always been a Robert Woods guy. And, so like the last 2 years, Robert Woods ended up better. In the beginning of the season last year, I'm like, dude, it's Robert Woods. It was like week 3, and Robert Woods already had him by like 15 or 20 points. And I'm like, Crabtree, bet me. And he's like, all right. And Crabtree's like not a Tom Brady person at all. And I was like, I will bet you that for 1 month you have to put Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback ever as your pinned tweet. And he thought I forgot about it, guys. But a couple weeks after the season, I text him. I'm like, so when you gonna make your pinned tweet, friend? But it's always fun. We always try to make a lot of fun out of it.
It was
We'll
the
get
worst
in.
month of my life.
Yes, guys. But today we're gonna go over week 3 or week 4. Oh, season's flying by, guys. We're gonna go over the week 4 lessons and some of the things that we kind of are starting to gather from the season, and we're learning a lot. What's something you really picked up after this week, Crabtree?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of good stuff for you this week. Before we get real deep into the lessons, I just want to share with our followers and people that are watching that Chris and I are going to start doing this new thing. We obviously give you guys our starts and sits on Saturday, but we're going to start keeping track of what we actually hit and what we miss. And we're going to start giving you those stats that way you guys kind of know like, hey, our kind of record or where we're at, and you're not just trusting it off of nothing. So last week I was 4 for 8, not my greatest week. While Chris was a solid 8 for 10. So Chris was rocking that 80%. So I guess Chris is the guy to listen to, at least for this week. We'll hopefully we'll be back, and I'll be on top next week.
And not
Uh,
only do we do it so you guys can have an idea, but at the end of the day, like, do not let this be mistaken, guys. This is a competition between Mr. Crabtree and I. Like, I am going to get more correct this season, and you guys are going to know that I just have all the wisdom up here that you guys need to win and go out there and succeed. So,
well, when you do 10 people and I only do 8, odds are you're gonna get more correct. But it is what it is. It is what it
so
is.
you hit 50%, 50%, and you're going to talk
Yeah.
to me about more opportunities.
All
Um,
right. Well, now that it's a competition, I'm definitely gonna get into it better. So, I have to.
But dude, the team that I think has really surprised me, those Cowboys, man. I thought we all kind of came into the season thinking the defense was a joke, but the
Yeah.
defense looks great. I mean, obviously the offense is great with Dak back. Is this a legitimate Super Bowl team, man?
Um, I think so. I think they'll flame out in the playoffs just because they don't have that experience, and I think that the NFC is so tough, like all the way around. Like I feel like every team there just has experience, and the NFC. in the division they're in, they're just so bad. It's somebody else every other year, and they just don't have that experience to like take them really far. But like by all means, this defense, I don't know what they were eating or what, but they're just turn the switch, man. They're nasty. They get after
Mr.
it.
Trayvon Diggs, dude, he's
Yeah,
5 interceptions already.
yeah, he did get hurt though. I saw that. I don't know how serious it is this weekend, but I did see that he got hurt. I don't know if it was just a play or two, but I did see that. I'm not quite sure on the extent of that, but he is a very big role player for that defense. So if he's out a while, that could change the form of the defense. But they're legit, man, and they look like they're getting back to like their 2017 Cowboys where they're feeding Zeke the ball and letting Dak kind of be more of a game manager instead of him throwing the ball 50 times for 400 plus yards every game. And it's I don't know. I'm kind of upset to see it because I had a lot of stock in Cowboy receivers this year. But yeah, it looks like they're getting back to an all around game, and it's kind of surprising to see with Mike McCarthy as the head coach there too. So um, exciting time when Cowboys are good. That's always exciting.
I know. I mean, like, I know everyone wants to hate on the Cowboys, but I think they're always like a fun team to kind of watch and see where they're going. And I think this is a fun team. I think they're headed in a really good direction, and I don't think even Dak's really like a game manager. Um, I think
Oh, I don't either. I just think
I would
that's
think
the
he's
role he's going now.
I think they're just making him play more like, kind of like more Ryan Tannehill ball, like where they're gonna let Zeke and Tony Pollard kind of carry him, and then because they're so focused on the run game, or maybe it's personally right now that everyone's so focused on that like aerial threat of the team that they're giving us some light boxes to kind of run through, and maybe over these next couple of weeks you see him take advantage of some like some lighter secondaries because of that. Um, but all in all, I think that team looks great. And I do have to come ask you, are you finally going to start respecting our man Ezekiel Elliott and tell us he's a top 10 running back?
I have to look where I put him this week before I say anything.
I'm pretty sure it's on the cusp.
This week, I have ranked Zeke number 10 overall.
Yes.
And I hate myself for doing it. But I gotta respect stats, man. I've always been a stat guy. That's just how I am. Um, I was absolutely sold that this was Dak's ball, like it was his ball in his hands, and I don't know. I don't know why they're flipping the script, but it's working. It's working. I don't know if this is going to be the long term role or if this is just for right now. I think it's too early to see. Um, but again, if you're a dynasty player, I think this is the year that you trade Zeke. This is not something that I see. Hey, next year or the year after, he's going to continue with his trend. He's up there in age, and he's been a workhorse his entire career with the Dallas Cowboys. So if it's dynasty, you trade him this year. But if it's a redraft, yeah, man, hold on tight. I feel like it's a good ride coming.
So another running back that you and I were both a bit. I mean, I was always on Zeke. I never really told you guys to hop off the Zeke train. Sorry, I don't know why that's down there, guys. Um, but another one that we were both kind of low on, and we're like, guys, this is going to be a bust. But he's kind of got his work roll back. He's getting a nice target share. Mr. Saquon Barkley, what are your thoughts on Saquon right now? Are we starting to trust Saquon again?
I'm not surprised because like just of like that athleticism that he has. Like it's honestly like before he got hurt, like that was one of the most athletic dudes I've ever seen like play football, like just hands down. Like he was honestly, thought he was more athletic than CMC. He's
Oh
just
yeah.
like he was crazy. But like I got him moved up because I do respect it. But you got to take into account he had two touchdowns and a walk off touchdown late. Game was getting kind of tiresome for them. I'm not all the way there yet. I want to see a little bit more out of his actual running. They were down real big, so he got a lot more targets late. But he had 13 rushing attempts for 52 yards, which it's not amazing, but
Four
it's not
yards a
terrible
carry.
either. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not like terrible. It's like I would say like right in the middle. But like I think those two touchdowns, because they were both really long runs. I think like a 20, 30 yard plus Right. I don't know the exact what
He
exactly it
did
was.
go 5 for 74, so he did average 15 yards reception.
Yeah, the reception, I see that coming down to earth a little bit more. You got to look into account. Giants were missing Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, so I don't see him getting that many targets and being that much involved in the passing game. He'll be involved, but not to that extent. At least in my eyes, I
So,
still see him right around 15. That's where I
so
see him.
do you think like 15 carries and 5 targets a game is like within like his real realm of possibilities?
Yeah, I think 5 targets a game. I think 15 rushes.
So 20 attempts a game. That's a guaranteed RB1. That's like a. I'm pretty sure the stat is something like an. That's I know it's above 70%, but I want to say it's like 81% of RB1s have at least like, or if you get 20 touches like a game, that's like 81% RB1 success rate.
I think I'm willing to come on this show and tell you that I'm wrong about my takes on these guys. And the reason I think that I'm able to do that right now is because of all the injuries we're seeing with some of these better running backs. My boy David Montgomery, tears going down my face.
Yeah, it's big
Um,
tears. Four to
uh,
five
but
weeks.
yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of injuries, and with those injuries and these guys putting up these numbers like within 2 weeks, 2 and 3 week spans, it gives them a great push to push for that top 10 spot. And it's something that's very doable for these two. Obviously, we've seen it multiple times in the past. So um, I will say I am wrong. Um, yep, that's all I'm gonna say.
So one of those guys that I think that we all did have more faith in, and he's currently sitting at RB14, Mr. Kamara. I don't know, he's just not super involved. He didn't get a single target this week, so he's not as receive or involved in the receiving game as we're used to. He's been seeing a ton of carries, but that's never really been the running back that we've known Alvin Kamara to be. So I mean, are we a little worried? How
Oh,
are we
I'm
taking this
I'm
right now?
extremely worried. I'm extremely worried. So, like, the reason I'm worried is because I mean, Drew Brees as a quarterback on his later years, he didn't have that or he got fatigued later half seasons, and like you see him dumping the ball off to Kamara for these plays here and there, and like him getting his kind of dump off passes. From the insight that I'm getting and from what I'm reading, they're going with a completely new role with Kamara because they have a great change of pace running back that's great with his hands. I did think I saw something about him getting hurt this weekend as well, but I don't know the extent of that either. But like
Nothing about an injury right now.
maybe it was somebody. I thought I saw something where he came out of the game for something, but like he ran like what 26 times
26, yeah.
26 times, 120 yards. Like he did great on the ground. Like he showed you like, hey, as a true RB1, he can run the ball. It's not just all hands. But like if you take the receptions part out of it as a PPR league and running back, like he does drop value wise. Like that's a ton of value. So me personally, I dropped him out of my top five right at six. But I do worry a little bit with Winston's in ability to be consistent. Yeah, that's just where I'm at. What do you think, Chris? Are you up or are you down on Kamara?
I think we're a little down. That offense itself hasn't been necessarily great, and because they're not great, they're not going to give him as much touchdown upside. I do still have him at running back 4, but like we did talk about, a lot of these top running backs are kind of hurt. Like you got CMC hurt right now, Dalvin Cook hurt right now. I even have Dalvin Cook still ahead of Kamara. Um, just because I do think like when Dalvin comes back, he's going to have such more high upside because he does have a lot uh, much larger receiving role. Um, so like we said, in a PPR league, you just have to watch out for Kamara maybe a little bit. But I think the quarterbacks really surprised me this weekend a little bit. Um, sorry, I'm not trying to say so much today, guys. Uh, my guy that kind of really stood out to me was Trey Lance. Sorry, it'll be my last one of the show. But Trey Lance, he looked really good in his relief and red zone work in that offense. He was able to put up 31 points. That is it's probably like 20 points in standard scoring. but he was really productive. He showed you slight rushing upside that he will have. He was really smart with the ball, made some really nice plays. Uh, did he stand out to you as well this weekend?
Yeah, I'm really excited about him. Like honestly, like I don't care if Jimmy G can play. Like I think like just off of this one game and seeing it, he's probably the best rookie there right now there is. He looks confident. He just looks like that. You know when you like draft a quarterback and you see him play for the first time, you can just tell like they got it.
The
Like
Patrick
you just
Mahomes.
yeah, you just get that feeling with Trey Lance, and it's scary because they have a great defense, and honestly, all the pieces are there offensively too. They just need like that last little. I mean, hell, when they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they were literally 2 feet of a throw from winning it because
Emmanuel
Jimmy G
Sanders.
overthrew it. Yeah, he overthrew it. So this is why they went and traded him, and I think or traded up to get him, and I think Trey Lance is going to be that guy. I'm excited. I think that this is a great opportunity to kind of go and see what he's worth right now. Maybe wait a few weeks till it dies down because I do think they're going to get Jimmy G back in there for a few more weeks, and then try to get something going with him. Moving on with quarterbacks, though, I got another guy, a few guys that I want to get your opinion about, but Jalen Hurts and Taylor Heineke. You've been hearing me talk about Taylor Heineke for weeks now,
Too
and then
much. Too much.
also after I hear about that, I want to hear what you think about Jalen Hurts.
No, honestly, Taylor Heineke came out. He obviously got him a come behind victory. I mean, it was against a pretty terrible Falcons team, if we're being honest. They're just not good. But Matt Ryan played one of his better games, so they had to really put up points on the board to stay in this one. And the Taylor Heineke Terry McLaurin connection is for real and looking beautiful right now. So I know that there was maybe a couple people a little worried when Taylor first stepped in, but he's clearly looking for Terry early and often. That is his guy. So I do think that Taylor's definitely in your one quarterback leagues going to be in that flex conversation, or like the streaming conversation. And I think in two quarterback leagues, if he's your QB2, I would honestly feel pretty good for the rest of the season that he's going to do a really good job for you. Jalen Hurts, his rushing upside has proved to be very, very helpful, giving him like probably a 10-point floor, like just off rushing alone. That's kind of unmatched. Kyler's kind of settled down on his legs a little. Lamar's settled down on his legs a little. So Jalen Hurts is probably giving you the most rushing upside of any quarterback right now. So I don't know if I'm as aggressive on as you are, but I do think that the rest of the season he's definitely a quarterback I feel really good about having as my starting quarterback.
Yeah. I agree, like, stream like you mentioned streaming wise, if you're streaming quarterbacks and, like, that's just the route you're going, you need to have Taylor Heineke on your bench or on your roster just in general. He's got one of those matchups like, hey, great matchup here, bad matchup here, great matchup, like, it's every other week, so it's not something like you'll wanna start every single week, but, like, I feel very confidently, like, with the right matchup, he'll get you 20 plus, that game. And it's funny because like in that league I talked to you guys about last week when they like vetoed my trade. I got this guy that just doesn't believe he's gonna start past week 9, and I literally was like, all right, bet me a third round pick, and I'll if you're right, I'll give you one of my third round picks. And he wouldn't take me up on it. He was like, I don't want to trade. I don't feel like it's fair to give out picks here and there. I was like, all right, bet me money. Like I'll make it cash. I don't care. And I didn't hear back from him. I don't think he's willing to do it. So I the fact that he said he's gonna not be the starter past week 9 is ludicrous to me. There's no way Ryan Fitzpatrick takes this job back. It's his for the year. But with that, he does have to consistently win a few games here and there. So um, I could see a reality where he's not just if he's losing, but like pure QB play, Taylor Heineke is the best QB on that team right now.
I think so.
You think so too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts, though, I think you'll see more as we get into our rankings later in the week, but I do have him moving up considerably. Like Chris was saying, like his rushing upside is just great. Uh, I want to split it up a little bit and like talk about like real football and like fantasy football, obviously. Like real football, like I don't believe like this is like where he should be ranked, and we'll show you later in our later videos. But in fantasy football, the numbers that he's putting up, like I do think it justifies where he's being ranked, at least in my rankings. But we'll talk to you guys more about that later on.
For sure, for sure. Um,
All right. What we got next, Chris? You want to talk about some A-Rob and Woods? Let me hear it. You've been crying to me about Allen Robinson all week, man.
guys, I know I talk about Allen Robinson, just one of my favorite players. And as we started the episode with, Robert Woods is one of my guys. These are just my dudes. Like, these have been staples of my fantasy rosters for a few years. Like, guys that I just know I can always plug in there. And they weren't always the sexiest players, but they always were consistent. And you knew you could always have faith in them. But right now, guys, that is not where we're at. That is not the reality. A-Rob in full PPR had another sub-10 performance. Robert Woods was saved by his touchdown. And we can't forget that Robert Woods is not a touchdown guy, guys. He's not going to get a lot of those. So you're not going to drop these guys because they are very talented and they can turn it around. But at this exact moment, I would like to keep them on my bench if at all possible. If you have a player you can put in that spot, or if you can go pick up someone off the waiver wire, guys, like I would really, really be trying to keep these players on my bench. And I promise you, I would not tell you this, guys, if this isn't where we were at. But we are in full-blown panic mode, guys. Like full-blown. That's where we're at.
Oh man. As somebody that was already worried about Robert Woods, I would agree with you on him. I don't even know what to do with him, bro. I have him in a league and I'm just like
You can't
anybody
drop them,
thinks.
but I don't think you want to trade them either right now. Like they literally just have to sit there on your roster until they turn it around, and
I
it
think
sucks.
right. I think you're right. Like the right move right now for those two guys is just to hold. I do think Allen Robinson will turn it around. Like that guy, I have more faith in than the other. But
But
like
like
it's tough right now.
my thing
Like
about Allen Robinson is Justin Fields is exceptional deep ball thrower right now, and his short and intermediate game are not very good. And that is where Allen Robinson is. Like that's what he is for that offense, is the short and intermediate guy. And Darnell Mooney's looking really good on the long ball. So I mean, Darnell Mooney got more targets. He looks like he might just have a better connection with Fields because of the kind of quarterback he is. So now I'm worried that Allen Robinson might not even be his number one target.
no, I agree. But here's where I think it will get better. Even if that's the case, Allen Robinson's the pure best. Like he's the best pure receiver on the team. But from my insights and my sources, I'm just hearing like, hey, if Andy Dalton's healthy, this is one of those rare scenarios where they drafted a rookie quarterback to take over in the future that they're not going to give him the reins yet and he's not ready. Like I just have this like everything I'm reading, I just have this like little feeling that when Andy Dalton's healthy, he's going to be the starting quarterback. It's one of those I feel like they want to give him like a full year to develop because he doesn't have those short and medium passes under route and he's just a great down the field thrower. Like he'll get there, but I don't think that this is the year that they're gonna give him the ball, the keys to the team.
Yeah, I understand that. Um, Something I want to ask you about because I was looking at our rankings. I noticed that I had Keenan Allen higher for the rest of the season, and you have Mr. Mike Williams. You want to tell me why you got Mike Williams this week above Keenan?
So going into the season, I didn't believe it at first. I know you guys have heard me talk about the Saint or the now
He's the Michael Thomas and the
yes, the Michael Thomas role that Mike Williams is taking, and I do think that that's true. Um, constantly see him getting lots of targets. You're seeing him getting all these touchdowns. I think he's going to get most of the touchdowns this year, compared to where Allen. And I think like target share they're going to get the same. Allen might get a few more yards, but I think like Mike Williams will get more touchdowns. Like in it, I don't see Allen getting more yards consistently. What are you doing, bro?
there's no way they get the same target share. Like Keenan is definitely going to get a larger target share, but Mike Williams gets way more yards per target. So I mean, he's going to be much more efficient with the less targets he gets. But I mean, I think Keenan's definitely going to take the target share for sure.
I don't know, bro. The first 3 games, he was getting, like, almost 10 targets a game.
You can keep talking now. I'll pull it up for our viewers at home.
But no, I just think this dude Mike Williams is legit. If you got him where his ADP were, you are one lucky son of a gun, and that's as PG as I'll make it.
Okay, so Mike Williams is currently at 35 targets, and Keenan Allen is currently at 43. So Keenan has him by 8. The only reason I kept Keenan above is I think Mike Williams is basically going to be a poor man's Tyreek Hill. He's going to be like kind of your boomer bust guy, but when he booms, he's going to really boom. I think Keenan Allen gives you a really good floor every week, so I think it is a little bit about roster construction. But I mean, if you have either of these guys, you're obviously not trying to get rid of them. I would just say that I think Keenan will be more consistent for your week to week fantasy lineups. That's just kind of where I personally stand on that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess only time will tell. Are you willing to make a fancy bet, brother?
Oh, here on the video, what do you want to do? 20 that Keenan finishes above Mike Williams?
Where are the points at right now? Like officially, I want to know where the points
Mike
are.
Williams is definitely ahead. Keenan's at 63, and Mike Williams is at 70 or 80. So he already has 17 points on Keenan Allen.
If I win, you have to go post on Twitter that Robert Woods is the worst receiver of all time.
Okay. Give me a little time, but I'll think of this, and we'll let the viewers know what the alternate, like what your punishment is if you lose this bet. But I'll take those terms. I will take for how long? 1 month?
1 month, yes, sir.
1 month. Okay.
No, 1 month and 1 day.
1 month and 1 day. All right.
Yes,
That will be the terms.
all right.
But moving on, Dalton Schultz, Dawson Knox, guys. If they're out there on your waiver wire, we've been telling you to pick them up. So if you didn't pick them up, you might have already lost your chance. It's not that they're not going to be top end QBs or tight ends, guys. But I think you need to have a lot of faith in them. And the tight end position is obviously a rough one. So I personally always try to stock up on tight ends because if I have 3 of the top 14 tight ends, well, guess what? Somebody else is missing a tight end now. And now that's like a trade chip that I have over someone else. They both have been getting. Dawson Knox has gotten less consistent receiving work than Dalton Schultz has, but Dawson Knox is like one of his clear favorite red zone targets. And obviously, both of these teams are going to score a lot of points. So I think these are both guys you can feel really comfortable about moving on through the rest of the season. I do have them both at the back end of tight end 1. And honestly, if they keep playing like this, I could see them popping a couple more of these people on the list.
Yeah, honestly, I'm right there with you. I think both guys are great plays. I'm a little bit lower on Knox than I am Schultz. I was on Schultz a lot last year, and then I was kind of wanted to see how it played out with Barwin
Blake Jarwin.
Blake Jarwin. Wow, I'm putting both names together. Blake Jarwin. But this dude, yeah, he's good stuff, man. And honestly, I don't know what's going on with the Cowboys. Like, I just don't like. It was supposed to be Lamb and Cooper season, bro. And then Zeke's over here jumping in bowls, feasting, and now Schultz is getting the targets and touchdowns. Like I don't get it. I don't understand.
But the ship will right, and like Lamb is going to be that guy, like for sure.
I don't know, bro. I just want the Cowboys to suck again and let the Lamb and Cooper feast begin again, so I can be right.
No, we were just talking about how the good Cowboys is a good thing.
Yes, I know, but for my fantasy purposes, let's not.
That's fair, but for sure, if those guys are out there, make sure you nab them. If you're really desperate at the tight end position and someone's willing to throw them to you for the cheap, go nab them. Do whatever you can to potentially get those guys on your roster if you're really desperate for a tight end, or if you just maybe you have like a Dallas Goedert and you want another option. But I think that's all we have for you guys today for our week 4 lessons. It was a great weekend. Crabtree, to end the show, quarter market of the season. Who's the best team in the league?
Best team in the league? Oh man. After an ugly loss, I'm still gonna go with the Rams
The
right now.
Rams. You think the Rams are
Yeah.
still? Oh,
Yeah, I think, and this is I don't want to go. The reason I said Rams is because I don't want to go with just like the simple Cardinals and stuff. The reason I think this, you don't have playoff experience with Kyler Murray and those guys. I think they cool off a little bit. You have Super Bowl experience with Sean McVay. You have one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league of I would almost say almost all time underrated. And you have a great offense, great defense. Like they're always good at special teams. I think right now, Rams are my pick right now, best team. But the Chiefs are up and coming. Their defense needs some work. They're
a
going to get key
lot of
players.
work.
They're going to get key defensive players back. Don't sleep on them. But right now, Rams. What about you, Chris?
I'm a Chiefs homer, so I'll say the Chiefs are still the best in the AFC, even though those Bills are looking very nice right now. And I'm gonna give the easy answer, what might be the cheap answer, because they are undefeated. But even going into this game, I said the Cardinals were gonna win, and I honestly think the Cardinals are cooking. They might be a little unexperienced, but I think they're hungry. I think they want to go out there and really show that they like Kyler is that guy. I think a lot of people have kind of hated on Kyler and said, "Well, he's not winning. He's not winning." So I think Kyler's taking that personal, and I think it's going to be his mission to really show that he can take that team as far as he wants to go this season.
Interesting take, my guy. Well, as always, you guys, I think that's all we got for you today. But hit us up with a like and subscribe,
Yes.
follow, share, do whatever you got to do. Because the more people we get to follow, the more content we have for you. Chris, what do you got for us?
No, I think that's all, guys. Thanks for stopping by and watching and hanging out with Mr. Jacoby and I today, guys. We really do appreciate everything, and you guys are honestly the best, the most loyal and greatest viewers there are on all of YouTube. So thank you guys for stopping by today, and we will see you next time. Have a great day, guys.